arm in arm, the players are united for the biggest fight of their lives. They have targeted a place in the final at these SEA Games, and now they're just one step away. Paul Masefield is with me here at the Zayat Stadium. You've been watching Singapore over the past 2 games, and truth be told, have they been improving over the past 2 games?
They've been steady, Mark. There's no question about that. They've gone out there, they've gone to do a job, and that's exactly what they did, particularly against the likes of Brunei, where they could really have been a little bit more expansive. Of course, Shafiq Ghani being suspended for one of the games as well, that didn't help. So he's had to mix and match. I actually thought that he'd start with Isdin today in the centre of midfield, just to anchor in front of that back 4 and provide a shield. As it is, Shafiq Ghani starts, so it's going to be a workman-like, industrious Singapore that take to the field. And, you know, they can hit on the counter-attack because Sahil's done ever so well up front, leading the line all on his own. But Shafiq Ghani needs to start to keep the ball a little bit more, bring others into play, and not keep giving the ball away. That's what Singapore have been guilty of in the opening group matches.
Well, you're absolutely right. We did start with our very own SNS combination of Shafiq and Sahil, but Sahil's gone all SNS by himself by scoring 3 goals in this tournament. Sahil Suhaimi, a heroic performance is needed by Haris Harun tonight to lead the charges. Well, he needs to stamp his authority from the early part of the game, especially with a 3 in midfield for Thailand, Shapui, Sitipan and Tanabun Kesarat. They've looked the part in the SEA Games so far, the 3 in the midfield for Thailand, haven't they?
Yeah, but I think we've spoken as well, haven't we, Mark, about the experience that is there with that Thai side, which we'll touch on in a few minutes' time.
Yep, the starting lineup sees only 4 of them remain from the last game against Cambodia, where Khatchiasuk Sinamong actually gave his reserves the run out. And it's the 2 centre-backs, Sakolwat Sakola and Boon Yong, who also started in that game against Cambodia, retained. Singapore keep the same squad that drew 1-1 against Malaysia, and they have the stingiest defence in this tournament. And truth be told, if only they knew that a football match lasted more than 80 minutes, it could have been a clean sheet so far in this tournament, because those 2 goals that they've conceded against Laos and Malaysia came very late on.
86th and the 91st minute, I do believe, Mark, which it just comes down to lack of concentration, silly mistakes and getting tired. And it's very difficult for the Lions. You've got to understand that when you put under that amount of pressure, where you're told to defend and where you're told to be difficult to break down, one lapse in concentration late on in the game and that's it. There's Zico, of course, the legend that is Zico, now back in the fold with the national team. He's doing a fantastic job, to be fair, after taking over the mantle from the likes of Brian Robson, Peter Reid, and of course, you know, really putting his mark on this Thai team.
Yep, that's right. He actually bedded a lot of these Thai youngsters into the national squad. Part of them, in fact, a lot of them winning 5-1 against China in a friendly. 2 Centurions leading their teams out. Aidi Iskandar, of course, he himself part of a SEA Games squad from 1995 right up till 1999, and failing to get past the semi-finals. He's hoping that his charges tonight will do what he can't. The Thais kick off with Titipan, early touch on the ball for them, and it'll be the Thai midfield against a Singapore side that looks very solid defensively so far, but moving forward, just lacking in ideas with that final ball. But as Paul has been saying, Sahil Suhaimi has been running in this tournament as if he's got deep heat in his trousers, because he hasn't stopped. He hasn't stopped running.
No, but that's the problem. You've hit the nail on the head though, Mark. Defensively good, going forwards. They've lacked ideas in that final third, and you can see already how they've set up. Harry's been asked to drop just in front of that back 4. You'll be able to see players dropping in 2, 4, 6, 8 players right behind the ball straight away from the off. No question here that Bernd Stanger has instructed Aidi Iskandar to try and play a little bit more defensive.
Not to concede in the early 10 minutes of this match. And this is in contrast with what they did against the Malaysians, because against the defending champions, well, you covered that game, Paul. They came out very strong in the opening 10 minutes against them and took the game to the Malaysians.
They didn't look bad at all, to be fair, against Malaysia.
Early touch by Faris Ramli, easily mopped out by Tanabun Kesarat. Here's the man that is needed most in this match, Shafiq Ghani. Of course, the ball that's played just a little bit too inside, needed that pace from Hafiz Abu Sujad. It doesn't show it, it's easily covered by the Thais. And that, of course, is Atit Dao Sawang. He's already got a goal in this tournament, the 3rd goal against Timor-Leste. Well, we saw the Indonesians beat Malaysia earlier on. It's that same Indonesia squad which was decimated. I mean, they hung their heads low from the moment they conceded against the Thais in the first minute, and they lost by 4 goals to 1. Praweenwat, good to see him back in competitive football. Voted the best goalkeeper, of course, at the last Suzuki Cup. And the Thais will try to tick-tock themselves away out of midfield and control themselves through, but Safwan Barudin is just a tremendous reader of the game, as he's been throughout this tournament and the season, just shutting out the threat at time posed by Chapuis, the Swiss Thai who actually won the Under-17 World Cup with Switzerland. In play, the Thais metronomic in their passing and looking very impressive in these opening stages, trying to stretch the Singapore defense. Great work by Madhu Mahana. Ever reliable. The clearance though not completed. The 1-2 is almost, but Faris Ramli comes away with the ball, trying to get away from his marker, failed to do so. Shafiq Ghani's touch was a good one to Sahil. Here's the chance for the counter-attack. It's a very good ball played inside. Hafiz Abu Sujak taking an early shot and just goes wide. Oh well, he had the opportunity then to clip the goalkeeper or go closer to goal, but he decided to take the early shot and it just goes wide.
Brilliant play there from Singapore, no question about that. It all started with Madhu back in defence, a lovely ball splitting that defence at the other end there, but Hafiz Sujad, it's all opened up for him. Zulfami's put that on a plate for him, first time, dink, straight over the keeper. He's 8-9 yards out, that goes in the back of the net, no question about that. Singapore should be one up.
Well, after soaking early Thai pressure, all of a sudden on the breakaway, what a touch that was from Titipan, well watched by Zulfami. It's a good game from a good start from the number 17, who admitted after the game against Malaysia he didn't have the best of matches. He came in very late on the Thai number 7 then, Titipan Puangchan, who for my money has been the star of this tournament so far. So they need to keep a very close watch on him. He is the metronome in this Thai squad. Izwan Mahmud hasn't looked very confident coming out for crosses yet, especially in the 6-yard box. Just caused a bit of confusion between him and the central defenders. See how they defend this now with Theraton Bunmatan, famous for his swerving free kicks. In fact, scored a goal against Seoul from a free kick, which sent his club side Buriram through to the knockout stages. Referee just being a little too picky on where the ball should be placed. First test of defensive solidity here for Singapore, and they pass it quite easily. Not the best of free kicks. I've seen better quality given by Theraton through the years. Great work yet again by Sahil. Asked for a free kick. The referee's not going to give it. The left full back and right back at the moment trying to start another attack. Harris loses the ball. Titipan's shot is charged down very quickly and it goes finally wide by Chapuis. This is where the Singapore side have excelled in this tournament so far. They've been very, very tight and organised at the back.
Can't give half a yard to Chapuis though, because he will pull the trigger. I've seen him score goals in the Asian Champions League last year, or the season just gone for Buriram, no question about that. But two key players for Singapore today. We saw one there, Hafiz Sujad, chasing back, making it a double team on the wingers from Thailand when they do get wide, and that's where they'll look to exploit space. Hafiz Sujad and Faris Ramli are going to have to track back and add a little bit of cover to the two fullbacks, Shakir Hamza and Madhu Mahana, because it's going to make it difficult for Thailand to beat them and break them down then.
Harris claimed he tripped on the ball, but the referee saw it as dangerous play as he's trying to recover the ball up before Titipan could get any touch onto it, so he's given the free kick to Thailand. The opening 5 minutes have passed by and whizzed by with Singapore already with the early chance to take the lead, but Hafiz Sujad one-on-one with the goalkeeper, just lacked that little bit of composure and culture with that left foot to clip him. Well, he failed with an earlier free kick, Theraton Bunmatan. Let's see what he does with this. Much more elevation, but just as easily dealt with. Surely that's got to be a free kick. The referee waves play on, which might be good for Singapore because they have a break on here with Faris Ramli, who's got the pace. Oh, that's got to be a free kick and maybe even a yellow card. And rightly so for Salwat Sakola.
No question about that. Again, good from Singapore. It wasn't a free kick because of the way that Sahil flung himself to the ground. It was far too cheap. That's why the referee allowed play to go on, but that's cynical. And I tell you what, he's very, very lucky that there were people tracking back there, because if they weren't tracking back, that could have been construed as a goal-scoring opportunity as the last defender. Fortunately, there were red shirts getting in behind the ball. A yellow card is the correct decision from the official there.
We've seen how Singapore work in set pieces already with Afik and Safwan in the box. Afik is there and just over him, cleared by a player who gave away the free kick, Sakowat, and it's going to be a long throw now. Madhu Mohana, step up. There has been a debate in Singapore raging over whether he's more useful with his hands than feet, but I can tell you this about Madhu: he is a player who fights throughout. His spirit is undying. This is a lad who started off as second choice in the Lions 12 but took his place right back from Farid Hamid, and this tournament he has mirrored that. That long throw yet again inside the box, but all the players waited far post for some reason. Zulfami just making sure that Adisak doesn't get a touch of the ball. There's a loss though in midfield from Hafiz Sujat. Great work by Haris Harun, battling tigerish tackles coming in. The tenacity is needed in this match from him. Shakir Hamza just stepping across to ensure that the Thais don't move forward, because they do swarm forward as a unit. They looked very impressive in the match against Indonesia, especially 4-1. Remember, a lot of the goals came from counter-attacks where they just moved forward all in one. That's ease of passing in midfield, led by Titipan Puangchan. We haven't seen much yet in this match, and that's good news to Singapore. Faris. Where would be that moment in time for number 23, Tanabun Kisrat.
It's a good start from Singapore. They put a foothold in the game. That's the most important thing. They've dealt with what's been thrown into the box, and they've looked expansive going forward. So somewhat of a surprise and a change in the way that they've approached this game. That being said though, this Thai side, you're right, it's how they deal with that three men. Chapuis is the key, because he drops in and floats forwards and drops back. He's their key player for Thailand, no question about that. He's running forwards is something that Singapore are going to have to be wary of.
That role in Singapore is done by Shafiq Ghani, who lays it off to Zul, and all the way back now from Haris to Afiq. Building it deep and then hitting it long finally from Safwan. Not a bad ball that was played forward. It forced a corner kick. That's something that the Thai coach has asked his team to watch out for. Zico's told them already not to give away silly corners or set-piece situations, because that's where the young Lions profit the most from. Atit Dawsawang has gone against his coach's wishes, and Cowan's got to watch closely now.
Nothing wrong with a long diagonal ball like that. You force the issue, you try and turn the defenders, and they're good tactics. Heidi Skander obviously instilling that in the team. Try and get behind the Thais. That's what they tried to do.
Zulfami, great corner! Oh! Very close that time. Afiq Yunus from his second goal in this competition, having toe-poked one against the Malaysians. That time the ball just swerved away from him.
Got to score. He's got to score on that occasion. Totally unmarked. He found himself with a free header. If anything, he jumped a little bit too early and got underneath the ball. But if he just waits that fraction of a second and makes a better contact, that's in the back of the net. So Singapore should really now, let's be honest, be 2 goals up.
Despite the Thais' possession in midfield, they haven't really threatened the Singapore goal just yet. Tanabun Kesarat, one of 4 players from BEC Terasano. Sakol Watu's got to watch, he's already on a yellow card. He's playing it safe now with Boon Yong, the other centre-back. Long ball forward, easily watched by Madhu Mohana. Faris Ramli worked his jewels off in the last game against Malaysia. Great work from him, snaking his way around those Thai defenders. Shafiq Ghani, much better play from Shafiq Ghani, not the best of passes inside though. Back to him from Faris.
That's the importance of what I mentioned earlier, Mark, because it was Faris Ramli that tracked all the way back, put the challenge in, and then started the attack again for Singapore.
It's kept in play by Adisak. Scored 2 goals in that 5-1 victory against China for the national side. And a lot of people were looking at him actually to take over Tirasin Dangda as the first choice, but consistency has been the big problem, hasn't it, for Adisak? Going to be a free kick for Thailand yet again in almost a similar position that Teraton Budmathon floated those 2 wasted free kicks earlier. You can't keep giving that left full back chances to float free kicks in. This time he doesn't take it. It's his pass to Titipan. Uncharacteristic touch from him. Well, at the moment it looks comfortable against against the Thais for Singapore. They haven't conceded in the opening 10 minutes, and you're absolutely right, Paul. In fact, if anything else, they should be ahead now.
They should be, and they deserve to be, if we're being quite honest. They've taken the game to them. I think that Thailand are actually a little bit wary of what Singapore can do, which is why they backed off a little bit, because we haven't seen this from Thailand. But you have to say, did Zico make the right decision, leaving all of those players out, giving all the reserves a bit of a run in their final group game? Because there's nothing like playing games. It keeps you on edge, it keeps you ready, it keeps you sharp. And that's looking as though it's had an adverse effect on the Thai players at the moment. The more the game goes on, the more they'll play themselves back into this.
So Singapore really have to take advantage of these opening minutes. As another long throw is launched into the Thai defensive third, this time easily carried by Boon Yong. Up and under from him, met by Titipan, looking for Adi Saka. Oh well, the bounce of the ball beats Afiq Yunos then, but it should be goalkeeper's ball. Iswan doesn't come for it, so Safwan takes no chances with the long ball played forward, and Atid gets control of it. Kesarat going all the way back to his captain, Theraton Bunmatan, the Thai player of the year in the Thai Premier League, the left full back. Sakolwat, slowly they're beginning to find their rhythm now, Thailand, after 13 minutes.
But everything's in front, Mark. Singapore will be very, very happy because Thailand are playing in front of them. They're not penetrating, they're not getting behind, and that's good defensively again from Singapore. As you've mentioned, they've only conceded 2 goals in this tournament, very, very late goals as well. So if the side that you're playing against is always in front of you, you know exactly where the ball is and you know where your men are as long as you're aware.
Early pass forward, easily kept and met by Safwan Barudin. Sakolwat allowing the ball to get back all the way to Kawin Kamsachanan.
We saw the difference there between Kawin and Iswan Mahbub because Kawin came to the edge of the box to gather that. You mentioned earlier, Iswan should really have come and got that ball when Safwan had to clear it.
Shakir Hamza, surely this will be down the line and out for a throw to Thailand. It will be. He starts asking for it. Oh, well, Madhu's got a watch here, and he does alert as usual Madhu Mohana, and that's the reason why he's in the squad. He's ever reliable defensively, keeps it safe, and that time just puts it out for Thailand's first corner of the match after 15 minutes.
You've got to give a bit of credit to Madhu because he's come into the side. Farid's obviously didn't have a very good game. Madhu came on and replaced him and has kept his place there at right back, normally a centre back, and I think that's where the Thais feel that they could get at Singapore. That's why Faris Ramli is so important today as well.
It's an open chance right now. They've got a close ranks. It takes off deflection yet again off Madhu Mohana for another corner to Thailand. But it came very close. Sharul Chapuis, everybody expected the floater into the penalty box, but he went short. Chapuis to his captain, Bunmathan. They almost worked an angle for a shot at goal. This time surely it's going to go into the box. And this is where Afiq and Safwan have been very good. Those high balls so far. Madhu, once again another decisive touch from him. It has to be cleared by Haris. It's well charged down. The effort finally, I believe, coming from Titipan. Never going to trouble Iswan Mahbub.
It's the one thing you said there, close down. That's one thing that Singapore do extremely well. If anyone's going to pull the trigger or have a shot, Madhu did it a little bit earlier here. Harris has to scramble. There's only 3 red shirts in the box and they managed to concede a free header, Singapore, which is strange. But again, look, Harris throwing himself in. Madhu's going to close as the second man as well. And that's how Singapore defend, in numbers, in strength, and they put their bodies on the line when they have to.
I did say at the start that we need a lion-hearted performance from the Singapore captain, and so far he's led by example. Faris Ramli did score against the Thai selection in the Merdeka Cup in the 3rd and 4th place. Both he and Shafiq Ghani getting the goals in the 2-1 victory then. Zul searching pass, looking yet again for Hafiz. Same way they prized open this Thai defense in the opening stages of this match. Hafiz asking a lot out of Sahil Suhaimi. He will still chase down those lost causes. Came into this tournament with a little bit of a side bet going on with Shafiq Ghani as to who's going to score more goals. Great work this one by Zulfami. Sahil certainly has been winning at the moment with his 3 compared to Shafiq, who has failed to open his accounts yet at these SEA Games.
That diagonal ball again, but it's dropped short. You're better off over hitting it so it goes out for a throw rather than giving the Thais easy possession in the middle of the park to start to play out from the back again. At least you're turning them, you're asking questions of them, and then the Thai defence are facing their own goal. That's where Sahil comes into his own with his chasing, his work rate, his running, and he needs his mate Shafiq Ghani to come and close as well.
Yet again bulletproof Madhu Mohana. Just sense that the Thais are slowly getting their rhythm back into this game now. So it's a period here where Singapore, having failed to get that early goal, have to just ensure that they keep their organisation at the back. Shafiq Ghani, who's gone all David Copperfield on us, hasn't he? Because he's just gone missing in the first 3 matches that he's played in this tournament. He was suspended in the game against Brunei, and we really need the real Shafiq Ghani to please stand up in the semi-final. Some very promising early touches from him so far, but he needed to defend from the front. Yes, the Thais found an angle through. Heavy touch ensured that Afiq Yunus could clear with his less favoured right foot. Oh, not the best of touches otherwise. There was a break on because he had teammates all around him, Hafiz Sujad.
He's lucky. That should be yellow. Quite clearly frustration as he lost the ball there. Referee's done well though just to stop that and nip it in the bud and just say no more. I think the next challenge that goes in that's a little bit careless will be a yellow card.
Keraton. Once again, opening the angle up was Adisak. That was all there was to it. He does have options on the bench. Yati Suk. He finds that Adisak is not performing up to expectations. Chananan Bompifa, the top scorer in the Thai league amongst these under-23 players, is on the bench ready to come on. Will he be needed? Yes, Titipan's already got 2 goals in this tournament, and that's what he can do. That strike against Indonesia, perhaps the pick of the bunch of these SEA Games so far, and was the 4th goal. And you can't give him that amount of room and invite him to take shots at you.
Yeah, but it's all in front again, Mark. There's no penetration, no one behind. You can see everyone allowing him to shoot, so you don't mind that. If he beats Iswan Mahbud and sticks one right in the top corner where he can't get to it, you've got to hold your hands up and say, yeah, okay, fine, great finish. But it's 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 100, shall we say, at this level where it goes in the top corner. So, you know, Singapore at the moment, very comfortable, allowing them to, the Thais to play in front of them, let them shoot from 25-30 yards out. Their body's in the way, so there's no problem, and that's exactly what happened there.
But yet again, that chemistry between Safwan and Afiq, absolutely superb so far.
That's going to look good for the Lions 12 next year with those two paired up together. Safwan Bahudin, some may say surprisingly retained by the Lions 12 as there was a lot of interest in his services, but with Afiq stepping up as well, these two have looked really, really good in this tournament.
Shafiq Ghani giving the ball away yet again. You can see what he wanted to do, play in Sahil, and saw the defensive ranks closing in on Sahil. It's a real looper of a ball played inside, much better from Iswan Mahbud. We haven't seen him do a lot of it. He's been hesitant coming out for these crosses in this tournament so far, but that was much, much better from him. These 2 goalkeepers voted 2 of the best at the Suzuki Cup. Surely that's got to be a free kick for the pull down on Sahil. The referee found it a bit too soft, allowed play to go on. Krokrit.
The officials might have been watching Sahil, you know, because there has been occasion where he has gone to ground a little bit lightly, shall we say. In fact, I can remember a blatant dive in one of the last games.
He scored more goals in this tournament than he's done in the S-League this season, Sahil. 3. Once again, the channel, and the option is Adisak. The positioning of Safwan Bahudin was faultless then. Cross does come in. Here's a free header straight at the goalkeeper. Then Krokrit Tawakan should really have scored there.
Shakir Hamza, his body was closed, he was ball watching, he didn't realise that coming in behind him was Krokrit. Nearly got punished there, Singapore. That's the first real opportunity that the Thais have had, and it's the first time that a ball has been played in behind Singapore, and they look dangerous. So just a little note of warning there for Singapore, I'm sure.
they're pressurizing the Singapore players into making these quick touches and passes. And the defensive midfield, which went missing in the opening 10 minutes. Good ball that was. Sahil. Haris Harun is losing out of the chase then to Tanabun Keserat.
That's where you need him to stick. When it goes into your front man, you need him to hold off that challenge, wait for the support. He tried the first time pass back inside. Harris it was who was making a deep run. But sometimes you just want your striker to hold it. Maybe take a foul, get a little nudge in the back, and he does that well because he does draw fouls. We've seen that already.
The Thai is happy now to play the patient game. It's Keserat looking for some movement off the ball, which was invisible in the opening stages, but much better, especially from their front man forward, Adisak Kraisom. That's the reason why Katisuk has said that he starts ahead of the other strikers. It's because of what he offers up front, movement he offers. He's making the angle for the shots, blocked off yet again by Afiq. Adisak. Iswan's got to claim this one. Iswan Mahmud's lost it. It's not going to be it's a penalty. It's a penalty. Madhu Mohana, very unfortunate in that, but it all came down to the fact that Iswan Mahmud had to come out and claim that ball, Paul.
That's his problem. We spoke about it earlier. We saw Kawin do it for Thailand, come to the edge of the box to claim it. Here, there's just hesitation. You want your goalkeeper to be brave and strong there and come for the ball. Madhu's a little bit unfortunate there. He's just leaning into Shapwi. There's the turn. Safwan's just trying to shepherd it back. Iswan Mahmud is in a land of his own. Slight nudge. Shapwi going to ground very easily, it has to be said. But nonetheless, it's a penalty. They quite clearly, Madhu and Singapore are very lucky that there's no more action being taken there, because it's a goal scoring opportunity. Shapwi's bearing down on goal. Madhu's upended him. Could so easily have been a yellow, if not a red card.
Well, he's got to make up for his error now, Iswan Mahmud, by saving this penalty. And the Thais, which should have been a goal down in the opening stages, now with an opportunity to get a goal up from Boon Yong, who's already scored a penalty in this tournament. Easy as you like, checking on the run-up. Thailand leading by a goal to nil, and it's a mountain to climb now for Singapore, because in there, well, is the referee going to ask this to be retaken? I don't know. He's going to the Thais now.
He should be. That's unsporting, because watch, he stops. And when you stop, you're not allowed to stop. Did he stop? That's the question. There was slight movement going forward, so that's very, very clever if he's going to get away with it. He hasn't stopped, so it's a good decision that it's a goal. Let's be honest about that.
It has
just
been given.
Just the feint, but it's not a stopping motion. That was where the rules were brought in, that if somebody's running up to the ball and they stop and then go again, that is ungentlemanly conduct, and that receives a yellow card, and the penalty would be taken again. On that occasion, it was just a real slow motion and then went into the stride. And that's the correct decision, I'm afraid, by the officials.
Well, in 3 semi-finals against Thailand in previous SEA Games, Singapore have never scored against Thailand in the semi-finals of a SEA Games tournament. Now they need to find an elusive goal. And the goalkeepers just put them behind the 8 ball, all because of the indecision to come out and claim it. And now the Thais will be comfortable, and they'll be happy to allow Singapore to come at them, because they took the lead at the early stage against Indonesia and allowed the Indonesians to come at them. And from there on, counter-attacking football at its finest.
Singapore need to be patient. They don't need to panic. That's the most important thing. There's still 65 minutes left in this game, so just keep doing what they're doing. They've looked good, they've looked strong. Yes, the Thais have managed to play themselves back into this game, no question about that, but there's loads of time left. Don't panic.
Is that going to be a free kick? The referee says no. Ball's taken away from them by Zulfami, probably the pick of the bunch amongst the Singapore players.
Shafigani looks like he's struggling there with a back injury.
What's on the mind now of Aidi Iskandar? As a player, he could never get past Katisuk in the SEA Games. Katisuk, of course, with his 4 titles and 17 SEA Games goals that he scored through the years.
you could very rarely get past Idy either as well. He's a good defender, that's for sure. Good to see two legends on the touchline, like you mentioned, both Centurions for their nation, real unbelievable ambassadors for the countries, and real shining lights for the kids to look up to. They get the opportunity to take sides like this at the national level, so there is a pathway through for any kids watching out there to go and be able to play, to coach, and then to go on and coach the national team as well as play.
Here's Hafiz. Miss of his now proving ever more costly. It's a good ball slipped into Sahil. Well, it's a snapshot, and he's not afraid to shoot in this tournament. And truth be told, his strike ratio has been pretty good so far, because he's been fed on scraps for a lot of matches, but he still managed to get shots away, and a lot of them have been on target. Not that one though.
If Hafiz Sujad had put that one in the back of the net, Singapore, everyone behind the ball, come on, break us down. They'd still be leading now. As it is, they'll have to come out and be a little bit more expansive. Leave it for the last half hour. Like we mentioned, they're not out of the competition. One goal, they're back in this. We know that the Thais have conceded lately, which they did against Indonesia. That was 2 minutes into stoppage time.
This is really good work from Sahil. How good was that defensive midfield performance from Tanabun Kesarat to come all the way back and protect his defense. Singapore bench need to pull out all the guts that they have now in the squad to ensure revival here. Madu, lucky contributor to that Thai penalty. Ball's gone out for a throw to Thailand. It's that part of the game now where Singapore will just try to reorganize themselves and get their heads up, and the Thais will look comfortable and make sure that they protect this one-goal lead before hunting for more. Adisak was his persistence in front of the Singapore back line that led to a penalty being given away. Zulfami giving the ball away. Safwan anywhere would do for him. What the decisiveness of Izwan Mahmud has done as well to his central defenders, because now when those crosses come in, the central defenders will think it's always mine, even when the goalkeeper shouts for it. We'll have to see how his confidence level is the next time a ball swung into the penalty box. Theraton Bunmatana usually swings those into the penalty box. Adisak yet again, ever ready to put himself about and make sure that he gets control of the ball and allows his midfielders to come forward, his wingers to bomb. Harris. Shafiq giving the ball away yet again. Shafiq Ghani. I know he's been asked to sit a little bit deeper, as you mentioned in the opening stages, Paul, but probably need to see a bit more of Harris going forward now that they're trailing by a goal to nil.
Yeah, you may see a change or two in the second half where that's allowed. Maybe his ding comes on, can provide a little bit more shelter there at the back, allowing Harris to bomb forwards. Sahil isolated a little bit on his own up front. That's why when Singapore attacked, it was the counter-attack. It was two good opportunities that they've had on that corner.
Crooked pass. It's not going to be a free kick. That's a dive. It might even be a yellow card for the Thai. It's Theraton, who's famous for picking up yellow cards in his career. Madu
has a few issues off the field as well, from what I'm told by a few of my friends up in Thailand. But it's all about what you do on the field of play that matters, and he has got a quality left foot, there's no question about that.
Well, a chance to throw the ball into the penalty box yet again. This time the responsibility lies with Shakir Hamza, and the likes of Safwan and Afrik will make their way forward for the latest throw from Singapore. 14 minutes left of this first half. That is flicked on. by Safwan Barudin. No one there at the far post. And here he comes yet again, Adisa. Good challenge, great tackle that was. Hafiz himself about, and then Shafiq Ghani losing the ball yet again in a dangerous position. Shapui, played forward. Krokrit. It's a very good ball played inside Krokrit. Yet again, Safwan Barudin, heroic. Great block. Well, before the penalty came, it was Krokrit Tanakan who really threatened the Singapore goal. The only time the Thais threatened it with his header, which was easily held by Izwan Mahmud. Shapui is going to go out. Came off a Singapore boot, claims the assistant referee. So Thailand keep possession with a throw. Oh, it's broken clear. Shapui. Good work by Madu Mohana. Great play from him. Responsibility of the right fullback. He's tucked inside and made sure that he didn't allow Sarawat Mangsuk to have any sort of a strike at goal.
Shafiq Ghani gave the ball away again there. Just needs to hold it. Trying to play first time balls all the time when it's not on. You've got to keep possession, particularly to give yourselves a respite so that you can come out as a unit and start to keep the ball and get comfortable. That's where it's breaking down. Him and Zulfami started as well. When you see him starting to overplay, as it were, and try to be a little bit too clever, they've got to keep the ball when they're in possession, and they're in good positions to keep the ball and not make the wrong decision.
Well, they're happy to go backwards now, the Thais. Got a real foothold in the game.
Go backwards for the rest of the game. If you're going to win 1-0, you're not worried about that. It's up to Singapore to come out now and score a goal. So if they don't, they're in the bronze medal match, not the gold medal match.
That's exactly what Adi has kind of said before, and he doesn't mind winning all his matches 1-0 if they're going to clinch the gold medal from it. So it's not going to happen here. Madu loses out in the chase for the ball with Sarawut. Much better play, Haris Harun. Shafiq Ghani, let's see him keep the ball. Can he? The answer is yes. Hafiz Sujat, the referee claims that he's gone down way too easily. Titipan will be sporting enough to put the ball out of play for treatment to be given out to Hafiz. 10 minutes remaining. You look back at Hafiz Sujat's miss, and then they had another opportunity after that to score Singapore. Now they're paying the price for those two misses with the penalty that was tucked away by Praweenwat Boon Yong. And that's the reason why these guys, as colourful as they are, have been very, very happy.
Well, the happier of the two at the moment. This is a coming together more than anything, and not really too much in that. That happens. But you're right, that early opportunity where Hafiz Sujat just tried to overcomplicate the situation by taking a touch, another touch, taking his time, whereas the best option, because Calvin was about 10 yards off his line when he had it, bang, out at his feet, chip, it's in the back of the net, and Singapore then are asking different questions.
Here's Teraton Bunmathan. Early flurry of exchanges, now just slowly seeping away as the Thais are happy to maintain possession of the ball and let Singapore come at them, and the Singaporeans are still toothless when it comes to ideas and creativity in the opposing half.
You're not going to push too early though, Mark. There you just see what happens. Sale just gets the ball played in and around him, and now Thailand back on the attack.
Zulfami, Haris, clever ball, Sahil. Here's Shafiq Ghani, wonderful left foot he's got, didn't show it there. Smart as as always with his passes, and back they come yet again. Well, they've left the captain wide, and they couldn't find him with that first pass. Krokrit cuts back inside to the very impressive Thanaboon, and here is Titipan Pongchan. Well read, Afik Yunus.
The Thais trying to overcomplicate things with one too many passes, and then Singapore give the ball straight back to them. Again, we've got to understand and realise, Mark, that this is an under-23 competition. They are still developing, they are kids, but that's the difference between Southeast Asian and probably European, is that they develop a little bit quicker over in Europe, which is why you have a lot more players at the age of sort of 19 to 21 playing in first teams.
Shafiq Ghani, now that's a good ball. Here's Sahil. Ooh, took the contact. Referee is not giving anything. Saw a lot out of Faris Ramli in the opening 10 minutes, but not much so the last 30. Once again, the hold-up play of Adisak Raison. The spirit of Madhu, ensuring that he's not going to get that easy path and passage to the byline. Thanaboon. Teraton out wide. Masuk back to Teraton. Titipan. Here's the goal scorer of the penalty. Praweenwat Boon Yong.
The big difference is Thanaboon. He's the man that's dropping in there. It's allowing Teraton to bomb on, to bomb on down the right-hand flank. So both flanks can go and join in the play. And Thanaboon just says, yeah, you go and do that. You go and join in. You go and play. And that's why they're getting the extra body forwards, which is causing Singapore the problems.
Good challenge, a meaty one as well from Shakir. Is that going to be a free kick? I thought he went in fair and square then.
Spot on. I agree with you there, Mark. Nothing wrong with that challenge. The ball went and the man went, the player's leg was there. You've got to make contact. You know, we're going to make football a non-contact sport. You have to go and challenge for the ball.
Well, there are 1,000 referees in the stadium, and only 4 of them are being paid. Unfortunately, the one who's being paid the most made the wrong decision there. 6 minutes left. Teraton, yet again, his deliveries have been disappointing so far, and that's easily cleared. It's Sahil against 3.
Seems as though we've got a bit of a free rein there. Teraton can cut inside and go and do things as well.
Harris closed down very quickly, but plays the ball out to Madhu Mohana. Here's Safwan and Harris, 2 leaders of the Singapore side, of course, with their experience and their guile and abilities. Ooh, well, Atit got himself into a real spot of bother then by trying to control the ball, and Shakir Hamza couldn't profit from it, and in the end had to make an interception for the Thais to win the throw.
That's the problem when you play one up top, Mark, is the runs of your striker are so important. It's so important to keep the ball as well, because the options are limited, because there's only one man to hit. Do you go to feet? Do you go, into the hole? Do you go into the channel where he's running? And that's the problem with Singapore, which is why when they get to that final third, they're from sort of the halfway line, they lack ideas, which is why they hit the big diagonal trying to get in behind. It's not working for them. So what's plan B? That's what Singapore need to discuss at half-time, and that's what they need to come out with in the second half. And I think you're right, Harris needs to bomb on a little bit more. We might see the introduction of Isnin at some stage, just to act as that foil like Thanaboon is doing for the Thai side.
It's really caught him on the pitch more than anything else, Shapui. There we go.
I think his knee's just gone.
Yeah, it's the same knee, isn't it, which he injured in a match against Jiangsu, where he injured himself celebrating scoring a goal in that match, and I think it's the same knee which kept him out for 3 months this season.
Looks like they're going to make a change as well. That could be pretty serious, because he slid in, and you're right, there was the faintest of contacts there from Faris Ramli. There was no way that was a foul. His knee's gone again.
the awkward landing hyperextended more than anything else that caused it. He'll have a look at it before they make the substitution. The natural replacement usually is either Chanatip or Toklao Anand. We'll have a look at what Zico has planned for this. It doesn't look good, and it'll be a big loss for them if Sharil Shapui, who took the contact and won the penalty for the Thais, is not going to continue in this game.
I'll be amazed if he does. If he does, he'll limp through till half-time and a change will be made at half-time. That's the only thing that he's got in his favour at the moment, is that he's got a quarter of an hour after the next 3 minutes, if he can get through it. You watch how gingerly he starts to run when he comes back on the field of play. That'll give you an indication of whether or not we'll see him in the second half.
Oh, that's not a free kick. That's not a free kick. Haris Harun came in strong against Titipan. Perhaps he was the more muscular of the two. Titipan went down and the referee was, well, he bought that one.
The referee's wrong there. Definitely.
Kao Tung Fang. A little look on his watch. There will be time added on to this first half, that's for sure. Afik's got to watch that he doesn't get into a state of confusion with Safwan Barudin, who finally clears the ball. So Haris Harun wins it in midfield, only to give it right back to Atit, who's been winning the battle of the number 8 down that right-hand side for Thailand. Safwan, Haris, room to turn. Sahil does ever so well to hold it up, but that's all he could do. Try to play in. Shafiq Ghani, pass though hit with too much force. Anywhere would do from Zulfami. Need to see more of Faris Ramli now, as we did in the opening stages of this match. Haris looking for any sort of movement, but the mobility up front at the moment has gone missing for a while, so he decides to play it square. Shakir, Zulfami, look how quickly the Thais have closed down. They got to go back now and probably hit it long with Afik. A clever ball that's played inside to Shafiq, and then Zulfami. This is much better play from Singapore. Madhu Mohana shielding it and winning the throw. And is he going to launch one from here? That's your answer. All the way back to Safwan. 2 minutes remaining. It hasn't been a poor performance from Singapore in this match, far from it. They pay for an indecision in the box, giving away a penalty, and are trailing by a goal to nil.
That's Sahil, better from him the last couple of occasions. The layoff on that occasion was the right one. He held the ball up, but just overcooked the pass. But that's better. That's what you need, to get the ball in, stick to him, so that the bodies can get forwards to join in as well. Otherwise, he's isolated all on his own, and that's no good to anybody.
Sahil, quick feet, good play.
That's exactly what we're talking about, Mark.
Two forward players are playing very deep at the moment, with Shafiq Ghani in centre circle. Giving the ball away yet again, and here's the counter-attack just when Singapore are looking very comfortable on the ball. Yet again, blocked out. Brilliant play by Madhu Mohana. Here's Haris. Sahil takes the challenge. Holds it up brilliantly well. Good work from Sahil.
That's what we're talking about. Get it in. Now bodies have got forward, so there's 3 or 4 blue shirts to aim for. Haris has joined in. Faris has pushed on. So has Hafiz Sujad.
Just couldn't control the ball then, Faris Ramli, and because of that the Thais come away with it. Singapore ending this half the same way they started it. In the ascendancy. Faris once again looking for Faris Ramli. This time Faris does control the ball. It's the early cross which didn't come in, but it did take a deflection, and now the big boys come forward. Can they get a goal just before half time? This will be priceless if they do. They did score against Vietnam round about this stage, and it was the foundation of that 1-0 victory, and perhaps the most important result for them in the group stages, as they finished in second spot just behind the Malaysians. Now Zulfami's already swung a delicious one in, which Afiq just headed over the bar. Safwan and Gang are in the penalty box, waiting for another one. Another very good cross. Good catch by the goalkeeper though, Kawin.
That is how good he is, and he is good. Took that with absolute ease. You've got to keep it away from him.
And that was a very good clearance from him as well. Atid Titipan. Well, everyone expected the referee to blow his whistle then. 2 ties on the ground. Singapore is not going to put the ball out of play for sure. No, he is. And I think the referee said enough is enough. That's going to be the first half, in which Singapore dominated in the early stages. Hafiz Abu Sujad had a great opportunity in the opening 2 minutes to give Singapore the lead, but he dragged his ball wide. And then Afiq Yunos had a header just in front of goal, which he sailed over the crossbar. The Thais slowly came back into this game and profited when they had a penalty, which was tucked away by Boon Yong. And the halftime score here at the Zayatiri Stadium, Thailand leading Singapore by 1-0.
Hãy subscribe cho kênh Ghiền Mì Gõ để không bỏ lỡ
back at the Sayatiri Stadium. Singapore have got 45 minutes to salvage their final target, which they set before the start of the SEA Games competition. Indonesia are there already, having defeated defending champions, two-time defending champions Malaysia in a penalty shootout earlier on. And the Young Lions trail the Young Elephants by a 1-0, scored from the penalty spot. Praweenwat Boon Yong, the goal scorer. It's his second penalty conversion of this tournament. Singapore haven't won a SEA Games semi-final football match since 1989. That was the last time. 24 years ago, they beat Indonesia 1-0 in that semi-final. Fandi Ahmad scoring the winning goal. And incidentally, in 1989, that was the last time Thailand lost a semi-finals in SEA Games football. They went out 1-0 to Malaysia. Zainal Abidin scoring the winning goal in that match. Singapore went on to meet Malaysia in the final, but unless there's more adventure in the second half, that seems to be a third, fourth placing match at these SEA Games.
Wouldn't disagree with you there, Mark. They've got to come out with a little bit more intent. Keep it tight for the first 5-10 minutes. Try and hit on the counter like they did at the start of the game. And hopefully an opportunity will present itself. If not, I've seen it before. Maybe Safwan Baruddin will be pushed further forwards. They've got options on the bench as well to bring on. Allow Harris to get involved a little bit more. So we'll have to wait and see what ID is going to do.
So here we go. Trailing by a 1-0. Let's see the mettle now. They haven't trailed yet in this tournament, the Young Lions. So the character is needed from Haris, Harun and gang. Zulfami, who played in that wonderful ball to Hafiz in the opening stages. That pass and bounce defeating Madu Mohana. Unfortunate to give away that penalty. Otherwise had a very solid, stable first half. Shutting out Sarawut Masuk, who gave the Indonesian right full-back all sorts of troubles in that 4-1 victory. Will be Krokrit Tanikan, who will start the second half as Madu's opponent, and Sarawut operating down the other side. A little bit unorthodox and spectacular then from Theraton Budmatan. Just him and Kawin, the only two players to feature in that Suzuki Cup final. So the Thais have got some sort of revenge going on here. It's exactly a year to the date when Singapore beat them 3-1 at the Jalan Besar Stadium in the first leg. Oh, well, I tell you what, we saw a hand and a shove on the back of Faris Ramli. The referee was about 10 yards away, and IDU is not happy with that decision. The Thais can just come up and counter right now. Brilliant pass, wasn't it, by Titipan? It's going to be the first corner of the second half. I'd like to see that again, Paul.
It's an interesting one. There was a gap that was opened up and exposed and exploited as well. I think the arm did come up. I don't think there's any question about that. Maybe an indirect free kick just on the edge of the box. Definitely, I think there was some sort of contact and foul there.
Well, Thailand have got Theraton Budmatan. It's one of 5 players in this squad from the last SEA Games. A real overhaul. In fact, it's his third SEA Games and final one at 23 years of age. Trying to set up another goal here. It's gone right through. His one's misjudged the flight of the ball. Madu's going to come and clear this.
Safwan taking no chances there and just clearing it off the line. As though it was going behind, but as a defender, sometimes you're not aware of where everything is. You just have to deal with it.
Madu Mohana claiming time wasting, although we've got at least 43 minutes left in this match. It's going to go out of play. It's going to be a throw into Singapore. At which point in time do they make that switch? They have the likes of Gabriel Kwok, who scored against Thailand at the last SEA Games, on the bench for them. That could be an option as well. Nazrul Nazari bombing down the flanks.
Well, I think they need strikers more than anything, because Sale's all up there on his own. He's got no one to link up with. There he's had to come deep again. And he's looked a threat. And I think we were talking during the half-time break, weren't we, Mark, that the last 10 or so minutes when he was coming in and collecting the ball, holding it, bringing others into play, it looks more fluid, it looks better from Singapore, that, you know, they're bringing and waiting for the support to come up. They need to do a little bit more of that.
Madhu with the likes of Safwan in the box waiting for a throw. It's flicked on. It's still kept alive, is it? Well, Sahil Suhaimi really had to try to extend himself to keep the ball back in play, so he decided to go for the shot in an impossible angle.
Yeah, that's 1 in a million that hits the target from there, isn't it? It was always going away from him. But you can see the intent straight away. Anything in the final third, let's launch it in the box, let's see what we can get. But that's where Singapore now have to be clever and win the second ball.
The Thais are defending very high up to ensure that those headers do not pierce Kawin's net. Those throw-ins has been their tactic. So Zico has been watching the Singapore team. Here is Safwan Barudin using Madu Mohana. Ball's going to go out for a throw into Singapore.
Just looking to play in the channels, win the throw. Nothing wrong with going back to basics. That's how you get your opportunities to launch one in the box.
Work here from Faris Ramli. Is that a throw in? Yes, it is. Well, it's as good as a corner when we got Madu Mohana there. So back they go into the penalty box again.
That's all from playing the channel balls though, Mark. You play the channel ball, the defender has to come across, clear it, you edge down the line, you get yourself into a position, and like you said, this is just as good as a corner.
Good start in the second half from Singapore, at least penetrating this right-hand side a little bit more. Madu's throw is long as usual. Oh, what a save that is from Kawin. Well, it's he'll tell you it's simple. Afik Yunos does get this one on target, and it's the first time that Kawin's been brought about to have a save of the ball, and that's the reason why they call him the Flying Kawin.
One for the cameras, I think. Easy pickings for the goalkeeper here. It would have been interesting though had Shafiq Ghani just got a touch on that. Faintest of touch is just the other way, and that goes in the back of the net, but Kawin there, easy for him. Right height as well for a goalkeeper, that was.
Safwan. It's easy for the central defender, Praweenwat, booked early on. Settled himself into the game and really hasn't been asked to put in any sort of challenge on the Singapore front line.
I think you can see Singapore pushing a lot more further up the field of play, closing down a lot quicker, trying to get the play at the other end and put the Thais under a little bit of pressure. But it's all important to win that second ball. Titipan it was that picked up that loose second ball when that ball was launched forward by Safwan. There has to be a challenge in there from a Singapore player.
We have to go all the way back to Izwan Mavo due to the pressure by the Thai players. I said that 3 in midfield, Shapui, Titipan and Tanapun. So expressive, but at the same time so industrious throughout this tournament. Faris Ramli took that well. Madu all the way back yet again. Mixture of no movement up front and a very tight, organized Thai back line, ensuring that they couldn't go any further forward. Well in by Skola. Zul. Haris. Works themselves out of that tight situation very well. Ball given away yet again. Guilty party was Sahil Suhaimi then.
That's the one who's going to have the touch, take the foul, take the free kick. If he controls that and he's got the ball under control, the referee 100% gives a free kick.
Which, to be fair to him, he actually did in the last 15 minutes of the first half.
There's the tireless running, and that's not going to go out either.
Great work this by Sahil. Now he needs teammates up front in support of him, and he gives away the free kick.
Does all the hard work by blocking that and then chasing it down and getting to the ball first, and then just tugs him back. That's, again, a little bit of naivety, a little bit of immaturity, as it were. But again, that's why this is an under-23s competition. You learn from things like that. You've got him facing his own goal. You've got possession of the ball initially, then you lose possession. Keep him in there. Allow your team to come and squeeze as well.
An injury hit season yet again for Kawin, so it's good to see him back playing in goal. Still the first choice for the under-23s in his final SEA Games tournament. Missed the last SEA Games because of injury. As they come forward with Krokrit, sorting his legs out just quickly, and the referee's given away a free kick to Thailand now.
Well, Harris not happy there. He's saying, oh, what, you react to the shout? Is that what it is? Might have a point there. Challenge came in. Not sure how physical it was, but just look at the foul count. It shows how much Thailand have gone in compared with Singapore.
Shows how much the referee's whistle has favoured the Thais as well in this game.
Crockett there is just lying on the floor. Harris just trying to help him up, and well, just having none of it in the end.
Chapui will take this latest free kick, or will he leave it to his captain once again, Theraton Budmatan, to float this one in. Once again, the target is Adisak Kraison. 5 goals in the league this season for his club side. This one's got to be more commanding with this free kick. He is.
He's still taking it down by his stomach rather than coming and taking it a little bit further at the edge of his 6-yard box. Anyone getting in front of him there, it's in the back of the net.
Thai is prepared to make their first substitution of the night, and it will be Chapui, who came into a clangor with the field last few minutes of that first half by hyperextending his knee, and he will be replaced by the number 18 Chanatip
Substitution for
Songkrasin.
Thailand. Player number 12, Charyanis
Yep, struggling. You could see there from his movement, the way that he wasn't moving around the field of play like he was in the first half, a lot freer. So, a little bit of an issue there. So just change it.
Well, Chanatip is a guy who's been watched very closely by the J and K League clubs. In fact, they're saying at the end of the season, Hamburg will be very happy to offer him a trial. They call him Messi J back in Thailand. Plays for BEC Terracetano. So a little mix-up which the defenders do not like anything about, especially Boon Yong, the goal scorer from the penalty spot.
Tiliton's just gone mad at them as well, so they put themselves under pressure here. Again, it's given an opportunity for the big guns to come forwards from Singapore.
Well, it was indecision that led to the Thai goal in the Singapore penalty box, and well, the Thais presented back to them with this throw from Madu Mohana. Decides to go short. There's a lot of room to swing in across from Faris Ramli, and that's as disappointing a cross as you get. No height whatsoever.
It's criminal. Absolutely criminal. You've sent your big guns up from the back, both Afik's up there and Safwan, and you hit the first man. It's ridiculous. You're better off just launching it into the box. If you're going to change the angle like that, you have to miss the first man.
Here's Theraton. Early touch in the game for Chanatip. Trying to play in the striker Kraison. Happy to win the throw is Faris Ramli. Theraton, Faris Ramli, making sure the ball is kept with Singapore. Zulfami couldn't spread it out quickly enough. It finally gets to Shakir Hamza via Afik Yunus. Zulfami still asking for the ball, and well, it's always dangerous when you play it across. He's given possession away very cheaply then. Back come the Thais now with Krokrit. Chanatip. Krokrit continuing his run, receiving the ball back. Good defending yet again from Afik Yunus. Harris keeps it in play, but only just, and allows Chanatip to toe the ball out for a throw to Singapore.
That's Zulfami's fault for taking that extra touch when he could have just passed it straight on. Instead he has a touch and another touch and then a pass, instead of just touch, pass and move. And it sets in the team then that there's complacency rather than that urgency of control, pass, move. That's what Singapore need to get back to, the basics, and I highlighted that with Zulfami and with Shafiq Ghani, who we haven't seen for about 30 minutes now. That's the problem.
Shakir Hamza trying to combine with Hafiz Sujad, and the ball now easily cleared by the Thais yet again. Now there's space opening up, a very quick touch by Adisak, and he finds Sarawut. Oh, what a ball that was from Sarawut. Titipan, one-on-one almost with the goalkeeper, made the wrong decision because Adisak perhaps should have made the run forward and trusted his defensive midfielder to play the right ball back to him, and he wanted Adisak right there.
He wanted the run. That's what he wanted, and that's what he was just saying. Thitipan wanted him to make that run to the near post so that he could just whip it in. As it was, he had to pull it back. There was a blue shirt there, so again, Singapore defending well.
Thai slowly coming out of their shell. Do you think it's well, instructions from Zico to just sit back for the first 10 minutes, because that's what they've done in the second half, to allow Singapore to just come at them a little bit and slowly get back into the game?
An interesting one. I think that you just say, when you get the ball, don't give it away. So, but don't overexert yourself going forwards. We're leading 1-0. It's up to them to come out. You know that it's going to be about the hour, 65-minute mark where Singapore will look to make a change, to inject some fresh blood, maybe some fresh legs to try and make and create something, you know, and put a plan B into action, because at the moment it's not working. They've created those opportunities at the first half, right at the beginning of the match. They've had a header there at the second half, but there's nothing clear cut from open play, and that's a worrying sign for ID. And I think that the time's just coming around now where maybe it needs to change, where something needs to happen, and I think that that's what we may see in the next 5 or so minutes.
This is the hour mark you're talking about. It's still 1-0 to Thailand. That penalty goal in the first half, the difference between these two sides, as Adisak continues to bother the Singapore centre-backs. Haris Haron coming forward, having to check himself due to the lack of running up front. Players just peeling away from their markers. Here we go. Big passes needed here. It's a good ball that's played by Haris. Wasn't judged to perfection by Hafiz Sujad with his run.
But you know what we saw in the first half when they were playing those diagonals? It was being cut out by the fullback and nodded in, and that's where Thailand could come and play and be comfortable. Now Singapore can go and squeeze in, because the ball's been over the top and Hafiz Sujad didn't just read that as he should have done. It means now that Thailand are under pressure to get themselves out of that position that they're in. So it was a better ball. Indirectly it went out of play, but it was a better ball than dropping one short.
Thais have been put out of their normal metronomic passing game by Singapore. Backline gets tightened, gets on their heels as quickly as possible. Let's give credit as well to Adison Praison. He doesn't get enough goals as a striker. It's a big concern for Katisuk, but he does stretch the defense with his running and his hold-up play. There we go. Happy to go all the way back, the Thais. It's a sign of a team leading by a 0-0. Oh, that wasn't the best of passes played out by Skola. Cheraton.
I worry about some of the players with their footwear here, you know, because some of them are wearing moulded studs. It looks as though he's taking a stud because players are slipping. It's a basic error.
Well, a shot of inspiration is needed from Singapore. Will it come from the bench? So far, no movement from ID Iskandar's boys. As I said, the likes of Nazrul Nazari, Gabriel Kwak, maybe even Iqbal might be called on now, the extra striker. Or perhaps an extra midfielder or defender to bring Safwan Baroudin forward. Just create that chaos as far as the aerial duels are concerned, so that they can launch it long.
I'd bring on Isti. I would. I'd bring off Shafiq Ghani and I'd push Harris further forwards, and I'd allow the fullbacks to go and join in a little bit more as well, and cause 1 or 2 problems to the Thai side rather than them attacking Singapore down the flanks.
Thitipan can operate down the right-hand side. Harris's ball met by Cowan, happy to concede the throw, but yet again it was played behind the defence, which forced the centre-backs to backpedal.
Mark, nothing wrong with that.
It's a really good ball played out to Faris Ramli, who's taken it down well. Cleared out by the Thais momentarily. Zulfami, was that handball? I think it might be. He was defeated by the bounce from the pitch.
You can see there Boon Yong just saying, is that not a yellow card? The arm went out. He's got a point, to be fair. Thailand Thailand will just slow it down as much as they can now, take the sting out of the game. But like you said, the difference again between the two goalkeepers, Cowan there, Brave coming off his line, and if there's a problem, just deals with it, kicks it out of play and allows the defence to get back and get their shape.
Madhu winning it in the air. Harris composed as always. Shafiq Ghani, where is he going now? All the way back to Madhu Mohana. Here is Shafiq Ghani. Safwan. Shakir. Look how quickly the Thais come at them now. Giving them no room to pick a pass. When it's finally launched, it's high. It's won by a Thai, but it breaks to a Singaporean. That's a good ball played out by Zulfami. Shafiq Ghani. Once again, couldn't sort his feet out.
Singapore winning the second ball though. This time it's Thailand winning the second ball in a dangerous position.
How good was Safwan Baruddin then? He came in, didn't commit himself to a full-blooded challenge, wins the ball back. And I think he might be interested in joining the attacking ranks now. Faris Ramli is allowing the ball to slip away from him, and Teraton winning it back, and Safwan's got to scamper all the way to his defensive ranks now to join Afiq Yunus to try to prevent the next Thai attack, which doesn't come. Zulfami losing control of the ball. It does break to Haris Harun kindly. You can see what he was trying to do, slip it in between the legs for Faris Ramli. It does finally come to Faris via Madhu. That's a good ball played inside. It should have been the equalizer. It should have been the equalizer. The Thai centre-back went to sleep, and Sahil Suhaimi tried the faintest of contact, couldn't beat Cowan, but that was a golden opportunity for 1-all. And just as quickly as you speak, the Thais come forward, only to have the ball played all the way back to Iswan Mahmood.
He swung at it instead of glancing it. That was the problem, Mark. But what a wonderful ball whipped in, and fair play and credit to the referees, allowed the advantage there because Madhu was really taken out of the game. The ball was slipped out wide then into Faris. There the referees said play on. He's delivered quality into the box. It's a great run as well from Sal, but he's tried to swing instead of just guide it. That was the problem, and once you put in your whole body and your force behind that, if you get it wrong, you get it completely wrong. But you're right, another gilt-edged opportunity for Singapore, and that's the first opportunity this half that they've had in open play.
Well, the Thais will eat up as much time as possible, but that opportunity will have given Singapore a lot of confidence now moving forward. The Thais, remember, looking for their 14th SEA Games gold medal. And since it's been turned into an under-23 event in 2001, they have been dominating it. Well, your calls have been answered. Isdin coming on for Shafiq Ghani. So Isdin will sit at the back, which allows Haris Harun to bomb forward a lot more.
Player number 26, Mohammad Shafiq, replaced by number 20, Mohammad Izzuddin.
Singapore လူယူစဉ်အသင်းမှာနံပါတ်26 Mohammad Shafiq စာနံပါတ်20 Mohammad Izzuddin ဝင်ရောက်ကစားသွားမှာဖြစ်ပါတယ်ခင်ဗျာ
So Haris is the second striker now, with Isdin protecting the back line, allowing Zulfami to pull the strings in midfield.
I'm not going to tell you I told you so, Mark. But it will give license as well for Shakir to push forwards a little bit more, Madhu to push forwards a little bit more as well, and now Harris to get forwards a lot more and get involved a bit more. That's all important. It's been lacking with Shafiq Ghani. For me, he's had a poorer competition, and for me he's more of an impact player still at the moment. When he comes on, he can change games, but I think starting in such a big occasion like this, it would have been better to have used him from the bench. Like if the scoreline was like this now put him on.
Player number 18,
Chanan Pombufa is the latest to come on for Thailand.
replaced by number 20, Chananan Formpufa.
And
ထိုင်းနိုင်ငံအသင်းမှာ
I do believe the substitute has been substituted.
နံပါတ်20 Chanana Purpupila ဝင်ရောက်ကစားသွားမှာဖြစ်ပါတယ်ခင်ဗျာ
Zulfami winning it in midfield. It's a throw to Singapore. Now they've got Haris as well, who is very good in the air in the box. He's decided to go wide, but he couldn't trap that ball. There we go, confirmation of the substitution. Chanatip comes out, and Chanan Pombufa. As I said earlier on, he offers them a new perspective altogether going forward because he is the top scorer in the Thai Premier League amongst all these under-23 players, scoring a total of 10 goals for his club side, Osotspur. And he is the big man. So the two big men operating up front now, Adisak and Chanan. Chanan's first piece of action was trying to win that header. He went in like a wrecking ball, full-blooded, and he got the ball, you know. Well, the referee's decisions haven't gone Singapore's way, that's for sure, but Madhu certainly got the ball then.
Quite clearly got the ball. If anything, though, the foot was raised going into the challenge, which is why the ref deemed it dangerous. But as you're all aware now, once that foot does get raised, you do give the official the easy out of blowing for the free kick.
The latest free kick is way too straight. Easy for Izwan. Running up front is once again done by Sahil. He's chasing after this, easily defended and kept though by Sakola. Zulfami keeping good possession of the ball, but the pass though, just couldn't find a teammate. He's got the talent to spray those balls around, but there's some matches where he resembles an unmanned water hose, and we need Zulfami, the talented player, to just come forward once again, step forward and put his foot on the ball and start those diagonal balls, which he plays delightfully. We all know he's got the talent for it. Here he is, yet again, this time going short. Ties close ranks, especially the fullbacks getting in front of the likes of Hafiz Sujat. Isdin's touch to Haris, touch on though. It's well read yet again by Atit Dawsawang. This is good pressure. Haris, nice little ball slipped inside. Oh, well, you know what? I think he went for the cross and he almost caught Kawin out there because Kawin was prepared in his positioning to deal with a low cross from Hafiz Sujat.
Has he though? You could see from his expression there, he thought that there was a gap at that near post. I just wonder if he's had a sneaky look up when he got in behind there, saw that Kawin was cheating, and when I say cheating, that means creeping a yard out towards the edge of his 6-yard box, gambling that it's going to be a cross. And I think he might have tried to do him with the eyes and do him at that near post area. Not a million miles away, but again, in behind the Thailand defence, signs are looking good for Singapore. Now's the time that they have to step it up. The last 20 minutes, this is where they've got to go and get that goal back.
Safwan has been a good last 5 minutes. Haris having to go backwards because Titipan was closing in on his heels. Safwan Barudin. Madhu Mohana back to Safwan, no pressure at all on him. Thai's happy that the Singapore players continue to play it at the back. Finally it switched out wide and it's a very good ball to Hafiz Sujat. Couldn't control it though.
As mentioned, Singapore haven't panicked. They haven't just all gone guns blazing. They've tried to play their way back into this game. Let's not forget the earlier game where it took Malaysia 85 minutes to get the equaliser against Indonesia. So there's still time. It only takes a second to score a goal.
Faris Ramli chasing after this. What it does is put Captain Teraton under pressure. The Thais though composed and playing their way out of it and win a throw. Some very strong physical play yet again by Chananan. There is Chananan. Madhu sticking very close to his marker and winning the throw off Chananan. So good work by Madhu Mohana. "18 minutes remaining. Still the penalty by Boon Yong separating these two teams. Penalty that was given away unfortunately by Madhu Mohana after a mix-up between Safwan Barudin and Izwan Mahmud. Afiq Yunus's long ball is kept in play by Faris, but that was all there was to it. It was very good reading by Theraton Bunmathon. He knew that was Faris's ball and decided to just hold his pace back a little bit, position himself to win that second ball. Haris, good touch from Faris this time. Yet again, Theraton taking it away from the Maisie winger from Singapore. They're creeping up as far as stealing inches with a throw. And finally, Madhu sees the opportunity now to launch another one in. Misal Madhu with Air Safwan in the box waiting for, well, it was Safwan Barudin getting his head behind it. Yet again, the Thais are happy for them to win that ball at that edge of the penalty box because they've got a goalkeeper in Kawin.
Just needs a glance rather than a head. It might be difficult for people to understand there, but rather than trying to head it on, just let it glance the top of your head. It changes all the angles, and defenders, some of them are jumping with their arms out. It could hit their arm, it's a penalty. It goes past people. Just needs the faintest of touches to change the trajectory and the angle of the ball.
Last touch of Madhu Mohana. 15 minutes left. Thailand happy at the moment. They haven't troubled Izwan Mahmud at all in the second half. Very good layout by Isdin, but just as quickly he loses it out to Titipan. Magnificent tackle that was from Safwan Barudin. He had to measure it exactly right, otherwise it was a penalty. Here's the ball that's played too easy for the centre-back. Had to be hidden with the outside of the foot from Shakir Hamza. Tanabun slipping away that time was Chananan. This is good work from him. Chananan, finally they had a shot on target, and it's straight into the midriff of this one. Isdin's pass easily picked out. It was read from a mile away by Atid, who continues his run. Still Atid, no one though, bursting a hamstring to get into the penalty box. Adisak has asked for a free kick. The referee this time is not fooled by that. Titipan's ball played outside. It's a looping one and hard to control. Well, he's kept it in play. Krokrit. Theraton. Krokrit. Adisak. Atid it was made to run outside. Finally gets the ball. Well, he doesn't, due to a very poor pass from Boon Yong.
I think that's the best way to describe it, Mark. And I think you're being kind and generous with that. Question is are Singapore going to sacrifice Safwan up front? Maybe the last 5 or 10 minutes they'll have to do so. Well, a different option.
Certainly now, Paul, they have to throw caution to the wind now. It's like 14 minutes left. So Fahmy once again losing the ball in midfield. Shakir Hamza. Sahil has asked for the free kick. The referee hasn't been kind to Shahil today. Here's Haris. Sahil. Haris is in the box. Shahil's decided to look for the angle for the shot. It does come for Isdin. Across the ball and always going wide.
You know, quick feet, just slide it back there to Haris, who's making the run. He's on the burst. If he takes that ball with him, he's in behind everybody. As it was, the impetus was just lost by that extra touch and another touch and another touch. That's the problem.
It's the final substitution for the Thai. Sarawut Maksuku has been made to look very, very ineffective by Madhu Mohana in the first half. Will be sacrificed, and the final substitution will have Narubadin, who is very much a defensive midfielder, coming on.
It's a semi-final of a competition,
Substitution
right?
for
If you're going to lose
Thailand.
1-0, you might as well
Player number 30.
go down fighting and lose 2 or 3. So
Replaced by number 30.
you were all right. Caution to the wind.
Arbanin,
You've just got to get the ball
Praweenwat
forwards.
Boon
You've got to sacrifice something to get back
Thailand
into the game.
game.
You can always revert to what you've got now. That's no problem. But you've got to do something that's slightly different because it's the same old, same old. The Thais are now used to it. If you stick Safwan up there and start launching the ball right on his head, it asks different questions. You'll watch the Thais, everyone will drop off, and then you'll start to create space for yourselves to work in as well. I can't believe that stat, by the way, that Thailand have only conceded 1 free kick in the whole game.
A little unsure. He had a sneak peek at where his opponent was, and Appropriate had to position himself to win the second ball. Because of that little bit of uncertainty, it's given Thailand the throw in. Titipan happy to go all the way back. Boon Yong, good closing down yet again by Sahil. Asked a lot by Haris. Good work by Sahil. Wins the throw from Singapore. And now 11 minutes left. Faris Ramli. Oh, this is good play by Teraton. Safwan is then yet again giving the ball away too cheaply. Easily cleared by Teraton. I think being told he's got time. Will Faris keep this in play? The answer is yes, and no one's inside the penalty box though. It's still on, isn't it? Haris Harun winning it brilliantly. Still Haris, Titipan, who's never left his side throughout this match. Snapping it right back for Thailand. Zulfami. Isdin. Zulfami needs to be slipped out. Referee's got himself involved. Afik Yunus has lost out. The chase is on now between Shakir, Safwan. Safwan will always step in and win it. Good work by Safwan. Now the Thais have committed some players forward and they look very tired in trying to get back into positions. Can Singapore take advantage of this? They've got Faris Ramli on the ball. Isdin yet again couldn't trap a cement back. Loses out in midfield. No, referee said play on. Sahil takes the challenge and referee said play on again.
Well, the referee's been consistently inconsistent, allowing a few challenges to go askew there. That's why I think even the local television company here are zooming in on him. There was a few opportunities there for the free kicks to be given.
Madu. Boon Yong. Easy clearance. Once again picked up by Titipan Puangchan. Great challenge by Madu Mohana. That's what he is very good at, Madu. It's going to be a throw into Singapore. The next substitution will be the introduction of Iqbal Hussain for Hafiz Sujad. Iqbal did start the tournament down the left-hand side ahead of Faris Ramli, who came in very late to join the squad because of national service commitment. So what can Iqbal do? Is there going to be a heroic performance in this final 9 minutes from Iqbal?
Be interesting to see what position he does go and play. In Malaysia, he was all over the place. Didn't really have a set location. Was drifting in and out. Started out on the flank.
Well, he started out on the right-hand side, which does mean that Faris Ramli will go to the left-hand side now. So the two wingers, inverted wingers as they'd say, their favorite foot in the inside to take shot at goal at Cowan. He's got to watch his latest free kick. Safwan and the lights up in the box. Floated right into a Thai head though. Still kept alive and still floated to a Thai head. Much more elevation is needed there. Is it offside? Oh, it's saved by Cowan in the end. I think he's looked across and there wasn't a flag for Sahil. But it's gone too easy for the goalkeeper, who's won his battle against Sahil Suhaimi tonight.
That's another chance, you know. He's in behind. He's got time.
Got to stay away from the skirmishes. It's just going to eat up more time now.
Again, it's taken 20 seconds, 30 seconds off the clock. It's stopped Singapore's momentum going forwards. You'd do it if you were in the other situation. You know, if you were leading 1-0, you'd be looking to do that yourself.
Lose out in the air, but they win the second ball. Harris's shot, did it take a deflection? The answer is no. Is this the time now to bring Safwan Baroudin up front to join the strikers?
Should have done it 5 minutes ago, in my opinion. Mark, if you're going to lose one, you might as well lose two. At least chop and change it up. There he is, he's staying up front now. So, you know, the last 7 or so minutes, have a go, but you've got to get that foothold back in the game. You can't just expect miracles to happen by pushing him up front for the last 5 minutes. Singapore now have to go long, have to go direct, but they've got to get bodies forwards quickly as well. That's retribution, that's going to be a yellow card.
And Shakir Hamza is really going into the back of Adisak Praison. He's saying that Adisak didn't get a yellow card earlier on. Why did I get one?
Because that's retaliation. It is as simple as that. You've got to be clever with these things. You don't do it immediately straight afterwards. You wait your time, then you let him know he's in a game, and you let him know with a challenge. That now just kills the game for another 30 seconds. Singapore are all dropping off. The momentum's gone yet again. Safwan now has to chase back to become a defender. You want him stuck up front. Why?
Well, it's actually Chananan who's gone down, the substitute. Chananan Ponbufa. And Singapore have got to watch. Time is ticking away from them. It's the stingiest defense in the competition. They haven't done much wrong defensively, except for that one calamitous moment when Safwan shielded the ball and Izwan didn't come to claim it. It resulted in a push by Madhu Mohana on the back of Shapuis and a penalty to Thailand in the first half, dispatched by Boon Yong. Despite that raft of chances in the second half for Singapore, for Sahil Suhaimi especially, they haven't been able to breach this Thai defense.
You watch, he'll be back on the field of play in about 3 seconds.
Chance to add to the goals here. It's a poor finish in the end by Naruban. Safwan has stayed up there. He's won the header. Oh, Sahil Suhaimi was in behind the defense and was onside.
You can't tell me that they'd have tried that 5 minutes ago. Right? What's the difference between waiting for the 83rd, 84th minute and doing it in the 75th minute?
Afik Yunus winning another run in the air, but straight at Titipan. Adisak yet again. He's done this so very well throughout the match, but this time he was crowded out. 3 Singapore defenders on him. Madhu. Look at the Thais just squeezing the life out of the Singaporeans then. Offside, just offside. Oh, he wanted the ball played earlier, didn't he? Chananan.
Actually, Singapore got out of jail there. Zulfami gave, I remember it was in the middle, absolutely nothing there. No information at all either.
It's a great header, won yet again by Safwan. The ball's gone out. It's going to be a throw. Launched into the box either by Shakir Amadou. Fariz Ramli now operating down the left-hand side against Atit Dawsawang with a substitution of Hafiz Abu Sujad. There was late drama in the first semi-final. Are we going to get late drama here as well? The Thais clear that one out. It's put right back into the mix. Haris putting his body about. Titipan is there as well, and finally they clear it, but only momentarily, because Afik Yunus gives them another chance to complete this clearance. Adisak, lots of space for Atid. Titipan, free. It's a poor ball played inside by the substitute Naruban. Great work by Tanabun. Yet again, sweeping up everything. The guardian angel of this Thai back line. Number 23 defensive midfielder has done his job tonight. Adisak. Teraton still has time to bomb forward. And pick a pass to Adisak. Blocked off. Haris starting off the latest Singapore attack. The ball was way too straight though, trying to pick the pace of Faris Ramli then. Sakola just won that one in the air way too easily. This is good work by Krokrit. His left full-back and captain had gone up front, and he's tucked in and helped his defense out then. Titipan back to Krokrit. Here's Titipan just toying with the Singaporeans now. It's broken clear. Oh, that's a great turn. Had to be watched. Madhu Mohana did just that. It goes out for a corner though. Shananan almost finding the angle. Score his first goal of this tournament.
I'm going to expect them to get opportunities now, because Singapore are really pushing for it. They push forward Safwan. They look different there. Everyone pointing to their wrists and saying referee time. They've had the opportunities, Singapore. In fact, probably on the balance of play, they've had the clearer cut opportunities and the better opportunities than Thailand. It is Thailand that are the goal up.
Titipan. 5 extra minutes. Now the referee has finally helped Singapore out a little bit here. Can they take advantage of this? That's a good ball by Faris. Zulfami couldn't continue the forward play. Has a second chance to spray it wide, and here's Faris Ramli. Oh, is that going to be a free kick or a throw in? I believe the referee signaled the throw.
Should have been a free kick. The trailing leg caught him.
Shakir. Good work at the moment by Sahil. Sahil! Oh! Tried to chip the goalkeeper, but Kawin, despite being just a couple of yards off his line, knew what he was doing. At least he'll tell you that.
Have to be something special to beat him at that angle.
Onside, Chananan. Still Chananan. No one's in the penalty box. They win a throw though. Did take a deflection. And Gabriel Kwok, what's he going to do in the last 4 minutes now? It might be a little too late to have brought him on.
Substitution
he did score against Thailand at the last SEA Games.
Muhammad Sufalmi, replaced by number 7. John Yiguo.
Scored for the Singapore national team as well when they beat Jordan, coming on as a substitute. He did it 2 minutes after coming on as a substitute in that match. It needs the same sort of performance here if he's going to get a goal. That might be a free kick, you know.
That is a free kick. No question about that. The arms were wrapped around. That is a clear free kick, but not given.
It's given for diving now to Sahil Suhaimi. Or mouthing off with the referee. One or the other.
Yeah, that's the third or fourth occasion that he's had a little go at the referee. So a bit of dissent there. The referee just blows the whistle, shows him a yellow card, and again he just kills everything again.
Cut a very isolated figure throughout this tournament. Sahil Suhaimi managed to score 3 goals to be a joint top scorer of this tournament. Shakir. Is that a push in the back? The referee says no. Gabriel Kwok's first touch of the ball in SEA Games actions to give it right back to the Thais. Will eat up the clock as much as possible now. It's the last thing the Thais need to give the ball right back to Singapore and give Izwan Mahmood a chance to launch the latest attack with 2 minutes remaining. 2 minutes of added time remaining. Safwan wins another one in the air. Here's Gabriel Kwok, shoved in the back but fairly. Singapore though still have the ball with Shakir. That's not a bad ball, that's played inside, and Safwan climbs so superbly high and might have another opportunity right now with Madhu Mohana. Late drama now, the Thais have to keep their shape. They've done very well defending from these set pieces so far. Can they do it again? It's flicked on. Sahil keeps possession of the ball. It's not a bad ball. It was dinked in, you know. There's no one down there. Just the Thais. Shakir Hamza wins the challenge. Oh, Gabriel might have gone down and won a free kick then. He decided not to. Here is Madhu trying to look for the angle for the cross. Two Thais side by side with him. He's happy to win the throw if he gets it. The answer is no. Krokrit doing superbly well from left wing to defend in that situation, and a chance for the counter-attack right now with Titipan. Seconds remaining. Izwan once again launches it long. Sahil just didn't believe in the fact that Safwan Baroudin might have won the header, otherwise he was bearing in on goal.
Didn't gamble, did he? If he'd have gambled, it'd have been in there. But again, Cowan showing what a confident goalkeeper he is, coming 12, 13 yards off his line to come and take that nice and easily.
Still launched inside the Thai half. Safwan for the first time loses out in the air. And this should be it if the Thais play this right and maintain possession of the ball. Iqbal trying to win it back. Surely that's going to be a Singapore throw. It is. Last chance saloon here. They've got to launch it right into the Thai half. No time to waste. Come on, Isdin, right into the Thai half right now. The Thai defensive third, and it was way too straight. Easy for the Thais, and surely now, once again, Singapore will fail to score against Thailand in the semi-finals for the fourth time. Well, we've gone past the 5 minutes, so the referee's been very generous to Singapore here. This might be the last chance. It's put up in the air. It's cleared by the Thais. They'll win a free kick after that late challenge. That's the end of the match. And Singapore, despite playing to instructions, keeping it tight at the back, going on the counter-attack with a few great opportunities, lose out after a defensive mix-up and the first half of the first half. And Boon Yong dispatched a penalty after Chapuis was shoved in the back by Madhu Mohana. 1-0, that's your goal scorer, his second of the tournament, his second penalty of the tournament, and Singapore once again relegated to a bronze medal match, which they'll play against Malaysia on Saturday.
I don't think it was a mix-up in defence. It was Izwan Mahmood not coming for the ball. There was no mix-up at all. Safwan was clear that that ball was going to roll back to him, and Izwan Mahmood just stood on his line and just allowed that situation to develop. There's no fault for that man there on the ground. Madhu Mohana, he had absolutely no chance. Izwan should have been stronger, and that's his weakness. If he's got one little weakness, it's about staying on his line when he should come and be a little bit more positive. When he comes and he's positive, he's a much, much better goalkeeper. And if he'd have done that, the penalty wouldn't have been awarded, and Singapore would still be in this competition, and it would be going to extra time now. They had opportunities though. They had the better opportunities of the two sides to score the goals. They didn't, so unfortunately it's the bronze medal match. Again, the cutting edge in that final third is what has been lacking from Singapore.
Well, the likes of Haris Harun, Safwan Baroudin will now bow out of a SEA Games tournament without a gold medal. Haris belonging to an elite league of players, the likes of Tiratap Winotai, to appear in the fourth SEA Games. In fact, only 3 players manage that. But once again, all he's had to show for a bronze in 07, a bronze in 09, and now looking for another bronze on Saturday against the Malaysians, who were defeated by Indonesia in an earlier semi-final. For the Thais, it's back to where they belong, on a pedestal in Southeast Asia, looking for their 14th title against Indonesia on Saturday. And this Thai team contains half of them who will be eligible for the next SEA Games as well. That'll be held in Singapore. The referee didn't do Singapore a lot of favors with his decisions. But as Paul was mentioning, I think Praween was forced into his flying saves only thrice in this match.
3 times more than Iswan Boon. To be quite honest, he didn't really have much to do. The shots that came at Singapore were straight down his throat from about 20-25 yards. Singapore would have been happy that a lot of the play was just in front, but at the end of the day they didn't convert their chances. There was that little mistake from Iswan Boon, and that's what's cost Singapore.
Well, let's have a look at the highlights now of the match in the first half. This was it in the 3rd minute of play, wasn't it, when it broke for Singapore. This delightful ball that was played by Zulfami Arifin, and Hafiz Sujat should have done much better. He had to look up at the goalkeeper and then drag the shot wide, and you thought that was a golden opportunity to take the early lead and shut up shop.
25 yards out, brilliant ball from Zulfami. He's looked up there, he can see the keeper, he's 10 yards off his line, a little dink over the top, it's 1-0.
And then 7 minutes later, this could have been a goal as well from Afiq Yunus. So they actually started the match on the ascendancy.
Not could have, should have. That's what it should have been. You can see here clearly a free header, no marking. You've got to hit the target.
And you expect Thailand to hit back. Slowly they came, although chances were few and far between. This was another one of them which went sailing over the crossbar. And at this point in time, Paul, to be honest, the Thais were just taking pot shots and not even troubling Iswan Boon, because a lot of them were being charged down.
Well, that's why I said Singapore defended quite well. They allowed Thailand to have the ball, but it was always in front of them, and shots from 25-30 yards, they're not going to whiz into the top corner every day.
Here's another one of those. This one came from Krokrit, charged down yet again, which was the order of the day, and this was the mix-up which caused the penalty. It allowed Shapui to break clear. That touch from Shapui was actually heavy, and Madhu was judged to have pushed him on the back, but this was what caused the penalty.
Now you could blame Safwan as well, because if the ball's there you've got to clear it as a defender, but for me it's the goalkeeper. Iswan Boon stuck on his goal line, didn't come out and command the situation, and that was what caused the problem.
The Singapore bench were fuming because they thought that Boon Yong checked on his run up to take this penalty, but it was allowed.
I don't think that was a check. I think he went in slow motion. He really did that right at the end.
So here are a few of those Praween highlights in the second half. Afiq with a header that
You just have loved any contact there from Shafiq Ghani just to put it past the keeper. But again, another opportunity, and these are the opportunities and chances that we're seeing. Another golden opportunity here. Sahil gets in front, tries to lash at it instead of just guiding it into that far corner. That's 4 chances to 1 really that Singapore have had, and that was a penalty decision for the Thais.
Well, that's as good as they could muster throughout this match. The Thai supporters will be back again at the Isaiah Tiri Stadium. Kiatisuk Sinamwang won the gold medal 4 times as a player. He's got an opportunity to win it for the first time as manager on Saturday against Indonesia.
อย่างอื่นเราต้องขอบคุณเพื่อนๆครับที่ช่วยกันเล่นแล้วผ่านเข้าไปสู่รอบชิงได้จนประตูนั้นก็